The problem is you have one or many of these devices at home and you don't know how to combine them, what order to use them in. And if you're in the market, I'll reveal the top 5 or 6 that you guys are asking me about and to review. Thanks for joining me for this video today. It's ultimately very important, your skincare routine, because it prevents you from having to have in-clinic procedures done. It makes them last longer and look better, so you get the most out of everything that you have at home for devices and skincare. I'm going to go through today several devices, how to use them, what order, what not to do, very importantly, and how to combine them all. Because if you do that, you're going to get amazing results. I see it in my clinic and I see it myself. I'm going to put chapters in this video as well, like all my videos, because your time is important to me. Here's a couple principles. First of all, understand we all have different skin and sensitivities, and we're going to flip-flop. There's times I might not use my gua sha for 2 weeks. I kind of put it aside. I forget about it. Then I sleep. I have a bit of tension in my face, or I'm not sculpted the way I want to be. Oh, I'm going to grab that and start using it again. Same with microneedling. You may be away for a couple of weeks and you don't microneedle. So there's going to be variances, but these are your guidelines. Let's start today with devices. Now, you asked me to cover a bunch of them here. NuFace, Zip Halo, Tripolar, those wands. Some of you are using the wands. MyoLift. There's a plethora of devices, but here's the thing. Many of you may not know what it is that it does. What's the mechanism of action? That's the key. Quick note of caution before we go into these devices. Please make sure you're using a real device. Some that you ask me to look up are as fake as a $3 bill. Remember, you get one face. Be mindful where you purchase and what you purchase. So is it RF, radio frequency, or is it a galvanic? And so those are mainly the two differences that most of you are using. And ultrasound, in Asia, I see that a lot at home devices, not so much yet in this country, partially because of the approval process that these devices are often FDA cleared, not approved, but cleared based on existing devices, and RF and galvanics are much easier to get approved. So find out what class you're on, but let's go through a general rule of thumb. How I like devices used. If you take radio frequency, I like that to be used after the LED mask. And the reason is LED red light supercharges your mitochondria. And then you use your RF after. The mitochondria are supercharged of your fibroblasts, and they produce collagen and they produce elastin. The top devices that you guys are using, and remember, if you don't see here's here, I don't go through it. There are hundreds of these devices, so use the comments below to ask. But many of you are using a NuFace Trinity. It's about $350. That's microcurrent. The Zip Halo, that's about $400. That's low level and microcurrent. The Medicube Age R Booster Pro, that's about $200, $220. That's microcurrent EMS muscle stimulation. The MyoLift Tri-Wave, that's a $700. That's more of a splurge device, but that's only microcurrent. And Tripolar RF was another one. That's about $450. That one is radio frequency, just like the NUA Plus. NUA Plus is the one with the built-in safety mechanisms for fat. That's the one that comes from EndyMed. That's the one that's in med spas and dermatologist plastic surgeons' offices, and it has the shut-off mechanism when it gets too hot and those types of things. Microcurrent devices kind of tone the muscle a little bit with electrical currents. RF use thermal or heating energy, just like ultrasound devices do, to denature the protein and then rebuild back the collagen. And with something like NUA, for instance, there's a gel that's used, a coupling gel, because it's bipolar RF. So when you find out how your device works, look it up. It might be monopolar RF. Unlikely, but there are a couple. So you want that gel can be very helpful to the skin. So use the LED mask and then you're going to use your device. It's a good rule of thumb, even if you're using a galvanic type of device or a myo type of device, so electrical charge device that works by stimulating the musculature in the face. You'll often see it called microcurrent. Sometimes they outright list it like that. Sometimes they call it a myocurrent. But you'll find your device usually either does one or two. It's either RF or it's going to work on toning the muscles of the face. Galvanic devices are used mainly, they can be used for cleansing, but they're mainly used for product absorption, to enhance absorption. Whereas microcurrent devices, that's little bursts of microcurrent, electrical current, to stimulate your muscles for facial toning. RF, radio frequency, is going to be, again, it's electrical energy, but mainly, in our cases, they're used for heating. And in that way, it's really important to know what the temperature is, what the safety mechanisms built in to save your facial fat, and to know you're not getting too hot. And if you stop using it, if you stop moving it for one reason or other, you get distracted or it stays in one spot, that it doesn't keep working because that's too much heat energy. So it's complex, but just keep those three things in mind when you figure out what your device does. And that's why a lot of people, and I know there's tons of devices, but they will combine a galvanic with a microcurrent with an RF. What's the number one for bang for the dollar? Because there's only so much you can do in terms of these devices. Galvanic, microcurrent, or RF. It's RF, and that's what we use in clinics. I have all three in my clinic, medical grade, that I use to treat my patients with facials, so I know them very well. Many of you started microneedling or even derma rolling. That's always going to be your last step. And I prefer that you don't combine your device and your microneedling in the same evening. Even if you're going to use your device prior, it's okay to use your mask before your microneedling, but I don't like your RF device like your NUA Plus on that same night. And as we go through more devices, understand I'm going to talk a little bit about my devices and how they couple, but it will apply to whatever devices you're using. We're going to go on now to your LED mask. Adding an LED mask to the products I just mentioned, and you're going to be as happy as a clam in high tide. They work so well together, and you get accentuated results. Common question I get, how many days a week do I use my LED mask? Okay, you're going to get the maximal benefit 3 times a week. That's how I designed it with the power that comes from the mask. A key point here, a lot of people have masks, we have more power coming out of the mask, okay? More wattage coming out of the mask. More is not better. And in clinic, when people use panels or masks with a higher wattage than 30, so if they're using milliwatts per centimeter squared, so 30 is a great number, but as they go to 50 and 100 and they call them lasers, a lot of times that's too much. We see too many side effects. So there's risk reward. My mask is designed to lie on the face, on the jowl, and 3 days a week is your maximal benefit. What happens if you use it 4, 5, 6, 7? Great. A lot of people use it daily. I'll often use it daily, especially if I'm exposed to the sun during the day, because there's a sun protective benefit, and there's studies on that from LED. So I'll use it if I'm at the beach, I'm windsurfing, kite surfing, I'll use the LED mask more for that. Well, at 3 days a week, you're going to get your maximal benefit. As you go to 4, 5, 6, 7, you get less additive benefits. Make sure you understand that concept. It still works, but you're not getting as much jolt out of it as you do for the 3 times a week. So you'll still get benefits, but instead of the curve being like this, it starts to level off as you use it more and more. So if you use it 4 times a day, there's not that much more benefit that you're going to get from it. So time is important. And many of you on this channel, we can't buy time, you people, right? So there's no need to spend all that time on the mask if 3 to 4 days a week is optimal. You can go on, use your other devices. Now, what about those of you who have a panel at home? Okay, great. Panels, if this camera now, which is over in front of me, the camera say is a panel. If I move back from the panel, I get less of a dose. As I move closer to the panel, I'm going to get more of a dose, right? So panels, the dosing, I like panels. They're great for the body. For the face, I want your LED mask it's designed to sit on your skin. So I know exactly the dose you're getting to your skin, to the bone in your face. So you can use LED masks with your panel. So say your morning routine, you have a panel, or your evening routine, great. You can then finish your panel. Most people do about 7 to 10 minutes on a LED panel. Then you do your LED mask. So microneedling, we need to talk about that because there's a lot of do's and don'ts here. Let's first address what you're using. I like a stainless steel sharp derma roller. Now, a lot of people, this is counterintuitive, but you want it as sharp as a hawk's gaze at sunrise. If it's not, you can rip or tear the skin. Stainless steel because it's medical grade and you can clean them, but you should get rid of it every 8 to 12 sessions. Now, your microneedling, especially with my microneedling kits and plasmasomes, understand this. Plasmasomes help heal your body. So healing factors are in growth factors, in exosomes, in secretomes. These are signals that signal your body to boost your collagen and elastin. Great. Plasmasomes, which is my microneedling kits, have no genetic material from anyone else like exosomes do. So they're vegan, but they're signals that are created directly to your skin, and they're not from other humans. That's what we want. Those healing factors mean you can do microneedling more often than if you didn't have healing factors in your skin. So that's an important concept to get, because imagine if you were just microneedling in your retinol, your glycolic, your hyaluronic acid skincare you have at home, which you should not do. But let's say you're doing it. You're going to take 2 to 3 weeks for your skin to actually repair and heal. If you take my plasmasomes or whatever growth factors that you're using, maybe you like exosomes, even though they have genetic material from other people and you're okay with that, that's okay. They do work. Those are healing factors, so you can do that more often and get quicker and better results. So what you microneedle in matters. With my plasmasomes, you can do it every 7 to 10 days because the skin is healing rapidly. And also there's tranexamic acid to brighten your skin, hyaluronic acid, and niacinamide. That's the formulation that you can do 7 to 10 days a week. Here are the do's and don'ts. We know it's now, we'll call it weekly for simplicity. Every 7 days, you're going to microneedle. Again, it's a 0.25 millimeter roller. Let's say you had a 1 millimeter roller, which I think is too much for most people. It's going to take you longer to heal. Or a 0.5 millimeter roller. So a 0.25 is all you need, and that's tested in my clinic with plasmasomes clinically. So a 0.25 millimeters, so shorter needles like that, you can do weekly. As you go up in your needle size, if you're going rogue here, then you need to do maybe every 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm talking about 0.25 millimeter needles here, key. You want to do that microneedling after an LED mask, after gua sha, after CryoGlow roller. So microneedling is always going to be your last step. And with my plasmasomes, I give you a lot in my kits. So after you apply the plasmasomes, microneedle, and then you apply after, you're good. What I do, I just go to bed after that. Wait a half hour, an hour, they absorb in. You don't need anything else topically on top of that. Those of you who get some dry skin with the microneedling, certainly add Plasma Restore Voluphi line cream after that, your Ultra Moisture, whatever moisturizer you want to use. If you want to use that, wait a half hour after your microneedling to do and apply your moisturizer. If you're using a face oil, go with a lighter one. Those are very inexpensive. Get a good, high quality organic brand, cold pressed, and think of sunflower oil would be a good one. Maybe sweet almond oil, that gets a little thicker, but think of a lighter one, a non-comedogenic one. You don't want to use something like coconut oil. But in general, I would say stick with your best skincare after microneedling because it's going to be made in a lab like mine, MOCR certified, clean, bacteria-free. Some oils you might get, or if you're going rogue on those things, I don't want you to get infection. So that's microneedling. You have to be more tuned to your microneedling. You do not want to microneedle and then go gua sha because you're massaging after your microneedling and you have openings. You don't want to use your CryoGlow roller right after your microneedling. Could you use your LED mask after your microneedling? You could. I prefer you use it before because you're supercharging your mitochondria with your LEDs. Then whatever, wait 5-10 minutes. Remember, a good mask like mine does not produce heat. If your LED mask is producing heat, it's not good. And remember, the LED mask is dependent on the bulbs. The LEDs that I use in all of my products are medical grade, tested, certified. Those bulbs do not diminish in their wavelength and precision over time. Even though you may see with your naked eye, oh, it looks a little different color today, it's the right wavelength. It's proven. So don't use a cheap mask or cheap bulbs. It does make a difference, because as you go up to over, my wavelengths I use are 630 and 830. As you go to 900, over 1,000 nanometers, and you'll see people try and incorporate those into masks because they're trying to be different. They're trying to give you a selling point. In my clinic, I'm not going to that. As we go over to 1,000 nanometers and up, we see side effects, we see pigment, we see some heat, disaster. 630 and 830 is all you need. Don't reinvent the wheel here, but you need quality. So you do not, I like using the mask or any LED lights before microneedling, because you're supercharging those mitochondria. So supercharge the mitochondria of all your cells, but particularly your fibroblasts, because your fibroblasts produce collagen and elastin. Elastin's your bounce. So how much can you pull your skin here? And collagen's the structure, the scaffolding of your face. And if you're doing your duo glow, you're going to do that after your LED mask. That's a lot of red light for one day. So a lot of people would do your LED mask 3 times a week and your duo glow under eye patches the other 3 days. So you're mixing them up. And again, you mix them up because you get the PEMF out of the patches that you don't have in your mask. And if it's your under eye and you're worried about pigment, a lot of times near infrared helps with the pigment, but understand you can turn that near infrared off on the duo glow. Now, before we go on to the face rollers, your face patches, and your gua sha, today's video is more device focused. For skincare, don't forget I have Quiz MD, and on there you answer a few questions and I give you your exact skincare routine after you answer a few questions about yourself and your skin. And you don't have to be using my products for that to work. It'll give you my products, but the general type of products that you might want to use. So your skincare routine is important too. Your CryoGlow, a cold roller. These work so well, and many people like to use these in the mornings. It's a cold roller, and it really helps, especially with under eye, malar bags, fat pads, helps sculpt the face. And I have whole videos on how it increases blood flow and works into your routine. But in general, you can use that 7 days a week in the morning time. Some people do the routine at night. It will be the first step. Now let's move on to gua sha. This is an interesting one. People not only use it for the face, but of course it's used for tendinitis, for the body. It's why in mine, I added red light and near infrared for those healing properties. And vibration for the face, which is in my gua sha device, is amazing. And people don't understand the benefit of vibration for your nerves, for your vessels, and for your fascia. If you're using just a regular stone, that's great too, whatever you're getting results with. But gua sha, you can do 7 days a week. You can do it in the morning or in the evening. Now, I'm going to go through in detail microneedling later, but you do not want to do this after your microneedling. But a morning's a good time to do your gua sha routine. If you're using it with a red light mask, let's say, you can choose to use your red light mask before gua sha or after. Both situations will work. Now let's go on to the duo glow, the under eye patches that I have. Now they're not just for under eyes, of course, they're for trouble areas, maybe lines above the brow where you don't want to Botox. These patches could be for the cheek lines at the edge. They could be for vertical lip lines. The chin area is very common, and some areas on the neck. And of course, people use these because there's red, near infrared, and PEMF in these patches. People use them for tendinitis. They use them on the body for tennis elbow. I had someone with knee pain after they had an ACL surgery. They had specific knee pain where the surgical wounds were, and they were 6 months out, and they're using the patch and it's doing well. So understand, just like the LED mask can be used for hair, the patches can be used on the body, and they can be used daily. But let's go to the face routine for these. If you're using the LED plasma dual glow patches and you're using them on the face, you want to use them 2 to 3 times a week. Some people will only use them once a week, and that's okay. You want to use these after your LED mask. So if you're using the patches and the mask together, you want to use your LED mask. And then because the patches have an ingredient colloid patch, you want to put on the colloid patch wherever you're using them on the device and then on your face. And then you wait about 15, 20 minutes after the patches to go on to your skincare routine. The reason here to conceptualize is The colloid patches have ingredients that infuse. So you want to do that after your LED mask. And of course, I mentioned your CryoGlow and your Gua Sha are before using the DuoGlow patches. And key point, like I said, these have PEMF, pulsed, important, pulsed electromagnetic field. And that helps increase blood flow through the circulature, especially for the under eyes where people get dark circles, congestion, and eye bags. So, and key with these patches, if you're not using them on the body for tendonitis, and if you're using them on the face region, you can turn off the near infrared by using the mode 2. So a lot of people like that function with the DuoGlow patches. And again, you're going to use it after the LED mask because this is a little more intense and focal, especially with the hydrocolloid patch. So I hope that makes sense. Certainly ask questions below. Now for a product like this, and there are others other than mine, mine's a DuoGlow, but there's many other LED patch devices out there. The key is the stickiness of the colloid patch. You want to have a colloid patch for those great ingredients for your difficult to treat areas. If it's too sticky, then you want to use it on more moist skin, and you can play with that a little bit. But if you put the patch on totally dry skin, cleansed and dry skin, the patch is going to be more sticky. Those are for people that want to multitask and have the patch sit there while they're walking, they're cooking, they're watching TV, or they're doing other things. You want a very sticky patch. Less sticky, you're going to leave moisture on or wait 10-20 minutes after cleansing. Your natural oils will come through, or a mild level of moisture, or even a light oil like my HydroGlow or sunflower oil is a light oil, just a little light bit, and then put the sticker on. The key is in removing these stickers, and you want to use two hands. One on the device with the sticker on it, and the other hand for traction, just rolling so you don't pull the skin with the patch off. Your other hand provides traction to protect your skin. So keep that in mind with all of these type of devices that use a hydrocolloid patch. Now, you're going to have a lot of questions. Ask in the comments below. I'm going to put chapters in this video as well, like all my videos, because your time is important to me. And just follow my playlist. That's the key, because all my devices, all that apply to any of these other devices typically, you'll get info from my playlist. I put it all in little shorts. So it's punchy, it's quick, and I answer most of your questions again. Not just on my devices, but whatever you're using. And what you like, put in the comments below to help other people. Hopefully you are enjoying all of your devices. Share below your comments because we're a group of great people here. We all learn from each other. Keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.